CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop. CHICKEN.
Guys, the chicken is here, bringing you another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we got a lot to cover. We're going to go over like a primer guide for starting Warship seasons, specifically season 16. And also, guys, make sure you're using the code CHICKEN in the shop. The giveaway is coming up. Also, we have some offers here. We have the Spooky Bundle with the Classified plan, and then we have the Haunted Bundle with the Building plan. Now, I'm not sure why they're selling resources in the shop the day Mega Crab comes out. That doesn't make any sense, but the blueprints are worth getting. So, you know, 13 bucks Canadian, that gets you how many gems? Let's do some quick math here. It gives you 1,200 diamonds. So, depending on what you're upgrading, say if you're doing like a big upgrade, then that's actually pretty good value. That's about 50% return. But if you're gonna upgrade something, just make sure that it costs more than 1,200 gems. Basically, if you're getting the Haunted Bundle, and if you're getting the Attack one, same thing. Just make sure that the diamonds that you're spending are in line, because otherwise you're probably gonna be better off to just buy the second builder and then gem them that way. But either way, getting the extra builder for the crabs, always a good idea. Instant training, it's always good. Okay, we're not covering shop offers today, chicken. Let's go over. Actually, what I wanted to do was let's do a little mini boost here, and we're gonna get ready for the crab tomorrow, and we're gonna do that by taking on Colonel Gearhart. All right, let's get into it. So the biggest thing right off the bat is you want to plan ahead. You can do that with sneak peeks. You can do that by going back and looking at old seasons. The biggest thing that I wanted to touch on this season was that, you know, at this point we kind of have a pretty good grasp on warships, right? It's more or less going to be not necessarily the same. Like, there's always a lot of like, you know, specific upgrades and little changes you can make here and there. It depends completely on the texture, right? But that being said, there's typically stuff right off the bat, like going for heavies, for instance. They're usually always the dominant troop right off the bat. This season being to the skies, maybe we're not gonna have heavies. Maybe we're gonna have rocket choppers or something like that. That's definitely gonna make things interesting, but we'll see what happens there. So yeah, other than that, you know, you want to make sure that you push right away. You want to be very you want to be very close to that start time as soon as the season starts, because if you wait till, you know, too long after then everyone else is going to have a bit of a head start. So I know Warship starts at basically pretty much literally the worst time for anyone in my time zone, the Eastern time zone. It starts about 4 a.m. Monday morning. I don't know why they've never changed that or made it like a UTC time like they do on the other stuff. But, you know, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So try to get up and push as early as you can. If it means setting your alarm, getting up, you know, half an hour early for work or school or whatever, try to do that, because that's going to be a pretty big advantage. I almost finished that. That's going to be a pretty big advantage, because you want to be pushing at the same time everyone else is. So, you know, you're all kind of you want to avoid it playing where people have more stuff in the tech tree than you, because if you wait a day or two to play off warships, you're going to have a really bad time right out of the gate. Now, of course, you want to be familiar with everything. You want to know how bombers work. Like, you want to play a few warship seasons, right? You want to have a little bit of experience, and, you know, anyone watching this video probably does, so I'm just going to skip that. You guys, for the most part, I would say 99% of you know what you're doing, and you don't need to go over how to use different warship troops, heavy choppers, things like that. Especially bombers being in the main base now. That's, you know, not as big a deal. Now, there's... This is the biggest change that I've noticed personally, and you guys can chime in if you agree or disagree, but the biggest thing used to be, you know, kind of going into a season and deciding if you were what we call base riding or tech riding, right? Now, we would tech ride if we had a pretty good finish last season, and we had a lot of keys coming out of the gate, and we're able to go and, you know, say, get to 4 ER on day one, something like that. You know, get to that thing that a lot of people aren't going to necessarily have, and then it's going to really propel you forward, because you know, you're going against the majority of people don't have anything yet, and you have, you know, that next piece of effective tech that a lot of players don't have, so then you're instantly like kind of out in the front. So if you can do that, that's always great. But what I've kind of seen these last few seasons, they've really turned into, it's always a base race, right? It's always a base race until maybe you get to 70 yards. That's not going to change anytime soon. That being said, it's always been a good idea to upgrade your defenses. We haven't had a season where defenses have been completely useless, right? It's always been effective tech at one point or another to have rocket launchers, to have prototypes, to have shock launchers, whatever that may be. It seems like that's always been it's never a bad idea. If you're ever unsure of what to do, just go back, unlock some defenses, maybe grab a boom cannon multi-node or something like that for early on. The problem is judging whether it's worth getting more defenses or if it's worth skipping ahead, getting the next troop, getting the next DR, and that's kind of where base riding versus tech riding come in. But at the same time, like I said before, what I've noticed with these last few seasons is it's always been worth it to go back and upgrade your base. Because even if, in my opinion, the last few seasons where I skipped the defenses and I went up and I got the stuff, and, maybe I did really well, like season 14 when we had the Scorchers. Like when you got the Scorchers, you instantly ranked up right away. Now that's great if you can maintain that position. But if you're losing by the time everyone else has the defenses built up, by the time that you've had Scorchers for a day or two, for example, does that really make sense? Was that really the right decision? If you end up losing for 2 days but you win for 1 day, so there's a lot of little things like that, and I really do think that focusing a little bit more on defense, if you're not like finishing in Legendary every single season, if you're finishing in Legendary and really high up. Number one, you probably know what to do anyways. You're not listening, you're not looking at YouTube for tips and advice and stuff. But it also puts it like it becomes a pretty different. It changes everything because you have more keys, you have more options, right? So it's not like it's not like you're kind of stuck and needing things to having to be really careful with your planning. It's just kind of you go to the next thing, get the next thing, get the next thing. So, yeah, I think that makes sense. Always make sure you're changing your base layout frequently. If you have the same base for a week, that's too long. You should probably be changing it at the start, every day or two, and then every 2 or 3 days. Depends on if you're winning or losing too, right? If you're losing a lot and you can't change anything in your tech tree, you're out of keys, changing your base around is usually a good idea. It usually pays off. So we're at like day 5 now, or day 5. We're at like what's it been, 2-3 months? I've only ever got one classified item, the building blueprint. It's the only one I've ever got, and I got it like right away, and I haven't got it since. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, changing your base layout's gonna help. And then the last 2 points, you want to understand when you have effective tech, and don't be chintzy when you're doing well. Don't be afraid to push. I make this mistake a lot. I get like a nice little 8-game win streak, and then I just kind of chill there because I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to lose now. But that's the wrong way to do it, because as soon as you start doing well, basically you just want to keep pushing forward until you hit that kind of point where you're going to level off. If you're not doing that, then you don't really know how far you're able. You don't really know like how effective your tech was because you didn't really push it. You just kind of moved up a little bit and then stayed there, which doesn't help you because if you're waiting to push, it's never a good idea to not push quickly unless you're waiting on a specific upgrade or playing at a bad time. You seem to be losing a lot. I know for me personally, when I play a lot in the afternoon in my time zone, that means I'm playing against like a lot of Asian players, and I typically do worse against them. It's just something that I've noticed. So there are definitely like optimal times to play like during the day. For me, it's always the morning. Not always, but more or less something I've noticed. So understanding when it's a good time to push is a big thing too. that I think a lot of people probably miss or don't really take into consideration. You know, if you have like say you're sitting at 3 out of 4 chests and you want to grind out that 4th chest, you should probably unlock the other stuff and upgrade them first before, you know, don't sit on your chest like that. That doesn't really make sense. And then just knowing where to park, when to park, when to throw in the towel, when to call it a season. I made this mistake last season, kind of ties into my last point. But at the end of the season, it's a little bit different because you don't want to go, you know, you don't want to go on a big loss streak right towards the end and ruin your season. You know, you kind of have to find that nice balance where it's like, okay, this is where I'm going to, you know, kind of finish out the season. So let me know what you guys think of that. If you have any more points, make sure to leave them down below in the comments, and I'll pin some of the good ones so everyone can see. And yeah, good luck this season, guys. I'm going to be streaming it live 4 a.m. Monday morning. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative, and we'll see you next one. Guys, check it out. Back.